Willie D. Live.
But there are some of us who are willing to do it. And I say to people, when you find somebody who's willing to do it, then you got to watch that person's back. You got to watch that person's back in a metaphorical sense, meaning I'm just going to kind of look out for you. But you also have to do it in a reality sense, in a real sense. The threats are unbelievable. I can't eat anywhere. I'm going to go to Luby's where I can say, give me that piece of meat and this piece of meat. I don't know who's in the kitchen. Some of these people who send me these threats, they may be in the kitchen. And when I say threats, I'm talking about threats about lynching and doing all kinds of things to me. And, it's just, when we're off the air, I'm going to play some of them for you so that you can get a sense of what I'm talking about, these threats. So, we who are willing to stand, who do this, there's a price that we pay in terms of how our lives are changed forever. I will never be able to just go any place that I want and take a seat. In a bar, for example, I don't go to bars. I never know who I might meet in a bar who's heard this. They'll hear what I'm saying here today and take issue with it in a bar. So, we have to watch the backs of those who are willing to take these bold positions.
Have you gotten more threats in your last 20 years as a congressman or when you was the president of the Houston chapter of the NAACP?
Since I've been in Congress, without question.
Yeah.
I was a judge for 25 years, and I didn't get – I had some hate mail and a few things, but nothing like I've had since I've been in Congress. And it all involves things that I say. And when you listen to these threats, you'll see that because they mention things that I do. For example, impeachment. There are people who just come unglued every time I file articles of impeachment. And I filed 4 times to impeach the president. We laid the foundation for the impeachments that succeeded. Now, history is not going to record that because history has a way of overlooking what Maxine Waters did in that same effort. She was out there pushing impeachment too, and we pushed it together. But history won't show that. History shows that when the mainstream politicians, I guess, the persons who are in keeping in good with the news media, when they decide to do it, then it's okay, and they'll record that. Unfortunate for people who laid a foundation, because people would say, well, you shouldn't have been laying the foundation. You should have waited on us. Well, if we waited on you, it might never have happened, because we then engender within the people this desire to see it happen, and then you come along and take it over the finish line. But it didn't start with you. It started long before you got involved with it.
How did you start in politics? Like, I know you're from New Orleans,
sure,
but when did you get the bug to serve?
This is a true story. I was very young. I'm not sure. Maybe it was 3rd, 4th grade, somewhere in there. And my teacher at that time, I believe her name was Miss Graham, she decided that persons would run for various offices in the class. And for whatever reason, she decided I would run for president. I wasn't the only one. There were others that she decided would run for president. So I remember my theme was Going Green. That was my campaign slogan. There was another kid in the class who had a campaign slogan.
Don't tell me it was Brown, go with Brown.
No, it was better than that. Free popsicles for all if I win.
Oh. So, you know how that went.
Yeah. As my recollection is, and I'm just saying this facetiously, I voted for him. Okay. But I learned something. And I mean, even today, I remember that. I remember that because, I'm out there fighting for justice, and he said free popsicles, and, everybody wants free popsicles.
Right.
So we had free popsicles, okay? But it started there, and then you become class president. You become president of student body. When I was in college, my freshman class, I was freshman class president. It starts young, and it just kind of stays with you. You adjust to it, And just as I've adjusted to the threats that I've told you about. I mean, Dr. King reminded us that a person who hasn't found something worth dying for isn't fit to live. Now, people don't like to quote that because they like to quote, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. But Dr. King was a radical person too. If you haven't found something worth dying for, you are not fit to live. That's a powerful statement.